is up? GoodMicWork back at you again. That's right, I'm coming to you with a Monday Night Raw review for October 26th, 2015. I felt a little bit guilty about the long hiatus I took when I was moving, so I figured I'd throw a couple of videos here at you back to back. I came up here last night and gave my reaction to Hell in the Cell and all of the matches that took place, and I had planned on coming up somewhere around midweek to discuss Raw and how Survivor Series is starting to shape up and things like that. But I figured, what the hell, Raw just ended, let me get a video up right away discussing the show, because I really haven't given a good, thorough Raw review in a long time because I've been so busy. So this one came from right here in my hometown, San Diego. I have to say, was a relatively decent show. They really had to come through. A lot of the main roster guys needed to step up. There was a lot of big names absent from the show. John Cena, of course, taking his time off. We knew we weren't going to see Brock Lesnar on the show. We knew we weren't going to see Undertaker on the show. Randy Orton, of course, is still on the shelf, and we're missing all the legends that WWE stocked up on last Monday night's Raw. So it was really up to the meat and potatoes of the roster to give us a good show here, and match quality-wise, I think they definitely did. Raw was still the same old Raw, full of lots of, goofy bits and pieces and a lot of shit that was annoying and didn't make sense and all of that stuff. Same old complaints that we have just about every week on Raw. But I think the in-ring matches were good, and that was really the structure of the show. That was what the show was centered around, and it started with the opening promo with the Authority coming out with Seth Rollins and giving him praise for defeating Kane and overcoming yet another obstacle. They named all of the guys that they've thrown in front of Seth Rollins since he won the title at WrestleMania, and the fact that he's plowed through and beaten everybody, according to them, that he's left the Authority in a tough spot, and Triple H says, look, there's really no one else for us to put in front of you, so we have to let the wrestlers decide for themselves. So what we're going to do is we're going to take everybody that won a match at Hell in the Cell last night, and we're going to put them in individual matches. The winners of those matches will face each other in a fatal four-way match in the main event to determine the new #1 contender. So that was going to be the whole deal, stretching throughout the show. Roman Reigns, incidentally, does make an appearance in this promo and comes out and confronts Seth Rollins. I think we all had a suspicion and pretty much knew from the start that it was probably going to be Roman Reigns is going to be the guy to come out of this being the new #1 contender. You can just tell they're going in that direction. I'll discuss later whether or not I'm for or against that. But for me, I think the matches were pretty good tonight, and the fact that we had a pretty good idea who was going to win at the end, the fact that all the matches were good kept us interested and I thought were pretty solid, to me was a positive. Roman Reigns has to stay in the ring after he's done talking his shit to Seth Rollins because his match is up first against 1/3 of the New Day, Kofi Kingston, and the match was way more competitive than we thought because Roman Reigns, of course, was selling the injuries from the brutal Hell in the Cell encounter he had with Bray Wyatt the night before. So the match turned out to be a little bit more of just a one-sided ordeal like we thought, and Roman Reigns got the win, of course, in a pretty good match, and he advances to be one person in the Fatal 4-Way main event later on. We also get Kevin Owens versus Cesaro. They did include the 3 guys from the 6-man tag on the pre-show in this tournament as well. So Cesaro gets the match with Kevin Owens. I was really hoping Cesaro would get in there. I thought putting him in that Fatal 4-Way would be great, and Kevin Owens is already the Intercontinental Champion. He kind of needs a new opponent as well. I think he's pretty much done with Ryback, so I was thinking maybe somebody could come out there and interfere and cost Owens the match, setting his new IC title feud up and advancing Cesaro into the Fatal 4-Way. But Kevin Owens got the victory, which I think is good. They really want to try to build the Intercontinental title to mean as much as the U.S. title did after John Cena had his long run with it. So having Kevin Owens look pretty unstoppable and winning every match he's in currently right now, I think is awesome. So he's a solid IC champ. I cannot complain about him winning, but damn, I sure wish they would do something with Cesaro. In a really awesome encounter, brand new fresh match that we haven't seen before, Alberto Del Rio returns to face a new guy that's come into the WWE since he's been away, Neville. This match turned out to be really good, and I love the finisher by Del Rio as well, putting Neville away. The whole match was athletic and great and wonderful, and Del Rio advances to be another guy in the Fatal 4-Way main event later on. I still don't know what the future holds for his alliance with Zeb Coulter, and Zeb's out there in the fucking hover-round wheelchair, hilarious, and they're calling themselves the Mex-Americans, and Alberto cut a pretty funny promo backstage saying that he doesn't want some immigrant to cost him a chance of being the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title. Pretty funny stuff. I don't know where they're going to go with this alliance with Zeb and Del Rio. You would have to think that they eventually have to split this duo up. It's kind of weird, doesn't make much sense. I would would love to see Ricardo return. You know, who knows? I mean, if WWE really wanted Del Rio back, maybe he had a few demands, and maybe this whole nonsense with Zeb Coulter is leading to a return of Ricardo in the future or whatever. I'd love to see that. Getting a lot of mixed opinions, too, on the return of Alberto Del Rio. A lot of people are calling him sellout and shit like that. I think that's obnoxious. I don't understand that at all. Doing what's best for yourself and your family to make a living, to me, I see no wrong in that at all. And Del Rio seems like kind of a no-nonsense guy. And if he came back to the WWE, there probably are some things that he's made sure that aren't going to happen to him again. And I'm sure he's being paid nicely as well. So to me, there's really no reason to hate on Alberto Del Rio. I'm glad that he's back, and it's good to see him. In what I guess you would call a loser match, to six-man tag with all of the losers from Hell in the Cell. You had Ryback teaming up with the Dudley Boys, taking on that three-man unit of Barrett and Rusev and Sheamus. And Barrett, Rusev, and Sheamus actually got the win in this thing. Wade Barrett scored the pinfall, which was surprising as hell, and did a really funny somersault celebration in the aisle. I was cracking up. It was good to see him get an actual win on Monday Night Raw. We finally saw the implosion of PCB finally. It seems like this should have happened a fucking month ago when Paige first cut her pipe bomb, but for some reason they kept stretching out this PCB nonsense for so long. She kept teaming back up with Charlotte and Becky after she had already basically turned on them. It was making no sense. So finally tonight, after all of this teasing, this ridiculous shit, it's like, god damn, when are you guys finally going to pull the trigger on this thing? We already know she's basically already turned on the group. Now you're backpedaling and making us sit through this shit all again just to end up with the same result that Paige is turning heel. So finally, after the match with Team Bella, who got the victory, by the way, Paige turns on Charlotte and Becky, beating the shit out of both of them and putting Charlotte in her submission move. And I think this is great. Finally, she's a full-fledged heel. Paige is better as a heel. And now she's probably going to be feuding with Charlotte for the title. So I think that's going to make a great series of matches, and I'm fine with that. But damn, WWE, what the fuck took you so long? Bray Wyatt came out, as we expected he would, sat in the ring and cut a promo, basically explaining his actions as to why they beat down and kidnapped The Undertaker. They didn't really say where they took him. They basically have custody of The Undertaker. They're keeping him chained up in a basement somewhere, I'm guessing. I have no idea. But goes on, much like he did before their WrestleMania match, about how The Undertaker was once feared, but no more, and this and that. So, you know, he cuts a really good typical Bray Wyatt promo. Obviously, they're building this to a match between the two of them again. And next thing you know, Kane's pyro goes off, and Kane makes his way to the ring. So finally, they're remembering that The Undertaker and Kane are actually brothers, and after Kane looks like he's definitely wrapped up business with Seth Rollins, Director of Operations Kane is let go and is no more. Now he can be free to, I guess, help his brother. So he comes out there to confront Bray Wyatt. The lights go out, come back on, and all of the Wyatt family members are surrounding the ring, and Kane is fucking trapped. So, of course, they beat the shit out of him and carry him away just like they did to The Undertaker at Hell in the Cell. So, I think this is pretty cool because it's going to obviously lead to a resurrection of the Brothers of Destruction, and they're going to come back to take on the Wyatt family. But still, the Wyatt family is 4. Kane and Taker are only 2, and you got to think Survivor Series is billed as the 25th anniversary of The Undertaker, so you got to think they might do a Survivor Series match here with Undertaker and Kane teaming up with 2 other guys to take on the entire Wyatt family in an elimination match. So who will the other 2 guys be if that is the case? I have no idea. Or can they just go with a straight tag match with the Brothers of Destruction reuniting to take on 2 Wyatt family members? Or they could do they could do Taker and Bray Wyatt one-on-one. So there's lots of options. I don't know what they're going to do yet. But now they've also kidnapped Kane, and now I guess Taker and Kane are chained to a wall somewhere side by side. Eventually they are going to have to make their return, and they are going to have to face the Wyatt family, and I guess Survivor Series will be that time. And then in the final qualifying match for the Fatal 4-Way main event, you have Dolph Ziggler taking on his former homeboy, Big E. Pretty good match. They had a little company throughout the whole thing. I haven't really commented on this guy too much, but Tyler Breeze has made his debut on SmackDown a couple of weeks ago, and they've launched him right into a feud with Dolph Ziggler because they have to change course after the whole Lana and Rusev shit fucked all their plans up. So now they're moving on with Summer Rae aligning herself with Tyler Breeze. This guy, I can't fucking stand him. Nothing against the wrestler there. It's just this character. There's something about these Adam Rose and Fandango type characters that I just don't think anybody can take seriously, and they're bringing him into the roster not to be a serious person. He's just to be one of those jokingly crappy segments that they always do, and this guy's going to mean nothing. Adam Rose, Fandango, all these guys, no matter what they do, who they work with at first, Tyler Breeze is going to start off hot. He's working with Ziggler right away. I'm hoping Ziggler doesn't put him over. I mean, doesn't Tyler Breeze lose most of his matches in NXT anyway? So you got to think they're bringing this joke-ass fucking character onto the roster just to be involved in silly situations and silly segments and dumb matches and all that shit. It's probably only a matter of time before he's going to be tag teaming with somebody, he's going to be jobbing, and he's going to have to be completely repackaged. He's going to go the route of an Adam Rose and guys like that. To me, that's the only level he can ever make it to. This Tyler Breeze character and this ridiculous outfit and this selfie stick. Hey, I'm not against any sort of, feminine male. I'm all on board with whatever anybody wants to do with their life. I'm not racist or prejudiced against any race or sexual orientation or anything like that. I am 1,000,000% on your side no matter what you choose to do in life. So don't think my comments are, anything like homophobic or something like that. But those prissy type of prancy wrestlers with their glitter and their purple fuzzy shit and all that, I'm just not a fan of, and it's really hard to take them seriously no matter how good the wrestler is underneath of the gimmick. And it's funny the way the WWE's roster is divided sort of between serious gimmicks and silly gimmicks, and I would hate to be the guy that would be stuck being slapped with a silly gimmick. It's like you would want to be on the serious side of that fence. I mean, they could have easily put something like this on a guy like Dean Ambrose. I mean, imagine how ridiculous. So sometimes it's not the individual's fault, it's just the gimmick, and I just don't like the gimmick. It's something that we've come to expect in wrestling in its modern era, so I can accept it just fine. It's just, I don't like him, and I don't really like the gimmick at all. It's fucking annoying, and I don't like the Miz either, the way he's out there wearing that fucking dress and all that shit. I don't know. There's just something about it I don't like. I kind of like the tougher, no-nonsense type wrestlers, and not the prissy, prancy ones. I mean, Shawn Michaels is the only guy in my mind that could ever get away with pulling anything like that off. There's been a couple of other guys like Dolph Ziggler, John Morrison, who've been a little flashier and fancier and prettier. They can also go in the ring, but really, I guess basically I'm just not a fan of being too flamboyant. And Tyler Breeze, I just look at him and I want to fucking throw up. But anyway, that's beside the point. He was out there to distract Dolph Ziggler, but it didn't work because Dolph Ziggler ended up winning the match anyway, and he advanced to the Fatal 4-Way main event, which took place right after that. So Ziggler had no rest at all. Very good match here. Each guy was highlighted. Each guy got to do their shit. Lots of "this is awesome" chants, lots of innovative offense, lots of near falls. I thought this was a very, very good Fatal 4-Way match. The ending and the finish was pretty good as well. It came down to Owens and Reigns. Wow. That's a pretty big matchup right there. The fans started, they were kind of going, ooh, when Reigns was standing outside of the ring. Kevin Owens had cleaned house inside of the ring, and he's basically staring down Roman Reigns. All right, big guy, get in this ring. Let's do it. And they started fighting, and it was a great finish. It looked like Owens was going to win. Super kicks Reigns as soon as he gets in the ring, goes for the pop-up powerbomb. Roman Reigns counters with the Superman punch, and then nails Kevin Owens with the spear. He gets the 1, 2, 3. Hey, I have no problem with that at all. I'm a Roman Reigns supporter. I don't think the guy deserves as much shit as he gets. He's not a perfect character by any means, and I do understand some of the complaints with the booking of him with WWE, especially in the beginning. I hated the Royal Rumble just as much as anybody else did. I thought that was ridiculous, but I thought the WWE did the right thing by pulling back and pumping the brakes a little bit on the guy and giving Roman Reigns other things to do, and now he's won this match, and he's going to be the #1 contender, and it's to the point now where I would be okay with him winning the belt for a couple of reasons. Number one, Seth Rollins, I've been saying for months, he just needs to keep escaping. He needs to hold the belt for a little while longer. He needs to hold the belt for a little while longer. Now we're up to Survivor Series. And the way I see it, there's no shame at all in a WrestleMania to Survivor Series title reign. That is a solid reign. Some of the greatest WWE champions of all time have ran those similar months, Mania to Survivor Series. That's a good portion of the year. It's a healthy reign. At this point, I think they could take the belt off of Seth Rollins. And I wouldn't be opposed to it because Roman Reigns is the right guy when you think about storyline, how Roman Reigns was robbed at WrestleMania 31. He's finally come now full circle to get Seth Rollins one-on-one for the title, a chance to get the belt back and the opportunity that he lost at WrestleMania. He's also had most of the year to work with more guys and get more experience and put more matches and feuds under his belt. And I think he's been doing well. He's been working hard. And who says if WWE wants to launch Roman Reigns, it has to be at WrestleMania? You know, I don't really want Roman Reigns to have that moment because sometimes I think the fans are so against shit like that they'll wind up turning on it. Survivor Series, hey, what's wrong with making Survivor Series significant for the first time in I don't know how long? Maybe have an actual title change here and make this 25th anniversary of The Undertaker memorable. You put the belt on Roman Reigns now, he can hold it and maybe drop it at WrestleMania. If he does not beat Seth Rollins, you got to think Seth is the only other hurdle he will have is Royal Rumble. Seth will definitely retain at the TLC, and if he goes into the Royal Rumble, that will really only be his only threat. If he can escape Royal Rumble, he will make it to WrestleMania 32 as WWE champion. So you have to think this might be it. Roman Reigns might actually take the title off of Seth Rollins. I am for it for a number of reasons. Like I said, number one, WWE bided their time with Roman Reigns. They didn't rush things. They saw the fans were freaking out, and they pulled back, and now it looks like they might be getting ready to give him the belt. And I also think that giving him the belt at a pay-per-view like Survivor Series is good for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's not WrestleMania. I don't think the fans want to see Roman Reigns close out the show at WrestleMania with the confetti and the celebration. He's not the guy they want to see do that. So if they want to give him the belt somewhere else instead, Survivor Series would be a good choice because Survivor Series has sucked a fat cock in recent years. I remember nothing of any recent Survivor Series at all. And to have this one have an actual title change on it and be centered around The Undertaker and his anniversary and all of that could be very special. And I think it would be an awesome way to build and make Survivor Series relevant again. And that's kind of why, right now, my early opinion is I want to see that. I know that's not going to be popular. Nobody likes Roman Reigns. It's very cool not to like him, but I never go with what everybody else thinks. I'm usually against the grain, and I usually try to be as logical as possible. And in my logical opinion, Roman Reigns, I think, has earned this title a little bit more than he has before. If WWE was insistent on putting it on him before, right after he was coming off of an injury, and he went in and won the Royal Rumble Batista style and pissed all of us off, you're right. It wouldn't have been the right time earlier on in the year for him to win that title. But now, the way they've put him through the ringer and had him work with all these other guys in lots of different matches and lots of different scenarios, I think he's paid his dues enough for me for a guy that WWE insists on pushing. If they want to put the title on him, hey, at least it's not John Cena, and at least he's not the worst athlete in the world. I think the guy is pretty darn good, and he's a fucking Samoan. What's not to like? So while the booking of Roman Reigns, of course, throughout this year has not been great, I think it has gotten a little bit better here near the end. And if they're going to put the belt on him now, I'm fine with it. Like I said, it's better than WrestleMania, right? Think if Brock is the one that takes it off of him. What if he beats Seth Rollins at Survivor Series for the title, and then he and Seth have a bunch of rematches, at TLC, and then maybe even at the Royal Rumble, and then they do some shit at whatever the February pay-per-view is, Fastlane, and Reigns is still champ going into WrestleMania. What if Brock is the one that gets the title shot and we have that match again? That match was good last year, so if it headlined again, I don't know, might be all right. Keep in mind, these are just opinions. I'm just talking off the top of my head here, so don't jump down my throat for anything you didn't like hearing during this. It's just me thinking out loud, basically, so get off my dick. But anyway, I think that's it for tonight. Just wanted to come up and comment quickly on Monday Night Raw and give you guys another video here, back-to-back, following my Hell in the Cell reaction video. You guys have a good week. I'm probably still a couple of weeks away from getting back on track with DVD reviews and shit like that. And if you notice, my 300th video is coming up right around the corner, and I have to think of something to do for that. Right now, I'm guessing I'm probably just going to do like a larger than normal Q&A, maybe 1, 2, or 3 times bigger than I normally do. It's not going to be any huge big video or any special event. I really don't have any time right now to put anything huge together, but 300 videos and my 300th commentary is a pretty big deal, so I definitely want to do something. So Q&A is most likely what I will do there. DVD reviews and pay-per-view reviews and everything else I do on my channel will start getting back to normal. I'm just a week or two away from starting to do that again. So in the meantime, you guys have a great week. I will probably catch you next week after Monday Night Raw, after we get a little bit more information and the card starts shaping up for Survivor Series. And maybe we'll have some better ideas of what direction they're headed. So I will talk to you guys in about a week. Until then, peace.